He stopped. He stopped the treadmill and the dog kept running.
Welcome back, everyone, to S1E1, a show where each week we pick a different sitcom, watch just the first televised episode, and forgetting anything we might know about the future run of that show, rate it and decide if it's a show we want to greenlight or cancel. This week we're going to be talking about Good Grief. Good Grief went 13 episodes with only one season on Fox. They were talking about episode 1, which was called, Ladies and Gentlemen, Ernie Lapidus, originally airing September 30th, 1990. But to get things started, I'm Jay Gags. With me, as always, the boys. Most of the boys. Joe, Ferg, and Gordo. What's going on, guys?
Spooky.
Dookie.
Harold love young boys.
We heard that.
Casper, right this early, dude? We'll come back to
I was
me
going
later.
to say, it's
Sorry,
like right
guys.
in the opening.
I know. He'll show back up. Casper, give us like 20 minutes.
But I knew that was going to be the quote, by the way. Also, before anything, welcome everybody to year 5 of our unofficially named Spooky Dookie month, where we do all Halloween, paranormal, spooky, monstery type shows for the entire month of October. And with this being year 5, boy, is it getting harder, but we found some, and I think we're good for next year. And then after that, I have no idea, but we'll see what happens.
I think we're going to have to have the conversation about, aliens. And Bigfoot.
Yeah, you just want cryptids.
Yeah.
Also, if I don't say it now, I'll say it later in the middle of the episode, but Margaret? I had to get that out once, otherwise my brain would have broken.
But no, I mean, I don't know. It seems like the longer time goes and the more we dig, these shows pop up out of nowhere. So Good Grief is a show for, again, 1990, starring Howie Mandel as like a mortician.
I don't even think he is.
Yeah, he's not a mortician. He's more like the manager? Yeah,
I
hype
guess.
man makes more sense, yeah.
But we don't know. Well, I guess we'd have to watch like deeper into the series to know if he he works at the funeral parlor. And
We see the Undertaker a couple times in this, and like full
Yeah.
Undertaker mode. Oh yes. But I guess
is that
he's
Raul?
just sort of.
Is he the Undertaker?
I think so, yeah, because Raul comes in later and he's wearing like the big gloves and everything, which to me says he was like taking care of a body.
Yeah, possible. I mean, he's very much the Igor, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, no, this one definitely had no idea it existed.
Nope.
You guys?
I actually I didn't know it existed, but I thought the plot was completely different. I thought he was a ghost.
Oh no, yeah.
I thought the same thing too. I kept waiting for him in the opening credits. We'll talk about it when they do the opening scene when he runs to the woman in all white. I was like, oh, there are 2 ghosts who live in this mortuary, and then it was just like,
Yeah.
hi, I'm on TV. I was like, what the fuck is happening? I was so wrong.
Then when the part later that we'll get into when he's in the window, I go, oh, this must be when he falls out the window and dies.
Me
It becomes
too.
the ghost. It's like, nope.
No, again, it's tougher to find shows every year, so the fact that they work at a funeral home is enough to count for anything Halloween.
Technically, is the only thing that dies in this episode a hamster?
Well, we see a dead clown.
Oh, we do see that clown, right?
Yeah,
being
we
buried
do.
in a giant seltzer bottle, which is pretty amazing.
So yeah, it's funny too. Like knowing what we know about like Howie Mandel, I mean, I know he has like OCD problems and like cleanliness issues. So like to see him here, like just touching people and hugging them and being very physical, I was like, oh wow, this is Howie Mandel. I don't remember.
Is that something that like just develops late in life?
It can.
It can.
Like, you think of that and you think of like Little Monsters. It's like he's very touchy in both. It's like
This era of him, yeah.
I think that like maybe he became a bigger celebrity after these 2 shows and that movie, and like if people are always touching me all the time, I might get like icky about it.
No,
It's
I would
like,
say like 1990, he's already pretty famous. Like
He
his
is.
stand-up career is pretty big at this point.
Yeah, he's like a very well-known stand-up at this point.
yeah, Bobby's World already exists.
And Bobby's World is so fucking good. Don't you know, Bobby?
Don't you know?
don't you know?
Bobby's World lasted for like 90 episodes. That's fucking wild. And I hate now that I'm like, 40, and I'm like, I'm gonna rewatch Bobby's World, I guess. I don't know. Here we go.
We should do that.
I do want to let you guys know, if you guys want to watch Good Grief, it's on YouTube, so you can watch I think the whole series is available on YouTube.
Not only is it on YouTube, it's from a dedicated Good Grief channel. Like, somebody involved in this made a channel as Good Grief with the photo of the show and only uploaded all of the Good Grief episodes.
It was Howie Mandel.
Maybe Howie Mandel. Well, he does a podcast and stuff now, and I think maybe one of his kids is like the sidekick and sort of like engineer to it. So maybe they
like a
were
producer,
just like,
yeah.
Producer. Just maybe they were like, fuck, we can do this. It's easy.
Oh, is his podcast the one that had Bill Burr and
Yeah, Bill Burr and and Billy Corgan. And Bill Burr was legitimately pissed off about it.
Yeah, I always get the clips from that. I'm like, I didn't even know this podcast existed.
I weirdly listened to the episode of him and Paul Stanley from Kiss recently and was like, oh, okay, sure. They seem very friendly.
A weird combo.
Both famous in the 80s, right?
And just to go over it too, 7.6 on IMDb, no Rotten Tomatoes score. And this is another one where, by the way, like, be careful and look at, like, Good Grief has been used for not only other television shows, I think like 2 other television shows. It's also been the name of like a couple movies. It's not a unique name. So, you know, you'd specifically, if you add 1990 or Howie Mandel, you'll find it. But yeah, Good Grief, the 1990 series.
Oh, you get Charlie Brown.
One thing I wanted to bring up before we get too deep into it is Stu Silver, who wrote and created this. His like 2 best credits are something that we talk about a lot, Ferg, on this show. He wrote Throw Mama from the Train. So immediately he's fucking royalty. He's one of the greatest people ever. And then my favorite credit ever is he wrote Good Morning Vietnam, but then in parentheses it's like first half only. It was like, oh, he wrote the funny part of that movie, because that movie is super funny for the first half, and the second half he's just like, oh, this kid's a fucking bomber and everyone's dying and the bar gets blown up and it's sad. And it's like, oh, he just wrote the first part. They're like, okay, you go home now. We don't expect you to write the drama part of this movie. It's fucking amazing.
Why can he make that funny, but he can't make a sitcom funny?
Look, everybody involved in this should be funnier. Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah.
You know, he's attached to a bunch of shows. He created Webster.
Webster is one of those weird shows that, like, I feel like with our generation, it dies. Like, it's not a show in syndication anymore. I don't think anyone's going to find it on streaming. I think it was such a specific time and place type of show. And, like, that's over. Like, no one's ever going to rewatch Webster, like,
is that
younger
Gary
than us,
Coleman?
you know?
No,
Gary
that
Coleman
was the 2 of them always get confused for one another.
Okay.
Did they fight in celebrity boxing?
I think they did.
No, I don't know. Emmanuel Lewis, right? That was, Emmanuel Lewis is Webster. No, I don't know. I think with some of those things, shows like that, at least, I don't know, like history, like the victors are the ones that, like, you know, your name is still spoken, you know, like everything dies when people like stop talking. And when it comes to like some of these shows, if you don't have like anyone to air you or any streamer at this point now, and that's it, you just kind of, you drift away. So we've talked about shows that are like very popular that just don't have a streaming site, and then people kind of forget about them despite having like really good runs. And then we see some shows that like were kind of nothing, but for whatever reason might be on Peacock or Paramount Plus, and you know, the people will, you know, kind of go back and check them out.
You know what it is those older shows, old people don't stream. They don't understand it, other than like a few exceptions. So those shows, which would be targeted to that generation, it would just be a wasted platform taking up space and costing money.
Well, isn't that why most of those shows sort of appear on those like free Me TV?
Cozy Me TV, yeah. There's one of those I keep trying to get because they're just like, we play MacGyver all day long. And I'm like, that sounds like the greatest television channel anyone's ever invented.
Well, with all that being said, I want to jump into this because I honestly don't know how long it's going to take to talk about it. So I want to kind of jump in right now. Starts off right away with the intro. I really liked the intro to this show.
Yeah.
It was a super upbeat song that made no sense to go with it. It almost had like a, I don't want to say island vibe, but kind of.
It did. It was definitely like islandy, like vacation theme.
Resort. I get like a resort vibe.
I will say this. If you ever want to make me laugh with like no work ever, put somebody in like over the top golf clothes. That always pops me for some reason. Like the like short pants and the big socks.
I thought he was a clown at first, and I was
I
like,
did
what
too,
the
yeah.
fuck?
Which is confusing because there's a lot of clown talk in this episode.
A lot of clowns.
What we're seeing is Howie Mandel's character, Ernie, and he's in like the full, like, yeah, that old traditional golf attire, and he's playing golf in a cemetery. And that's like the intro of the show. And in it, we meet a couple of the other like characters from the show, like his brother-in-law, Warren, and his wife, Debbie. And like, they're the ones like also in the intro with them that they all kind of interact in the cemetery.
And like Ferg was saying earlier, Debbie appears in all white in a cemetery.
Yeah, so that's what I thought she was a ghost. I was like, okay, so that's the spooky element here, yeah.
Yeah, that's the dookie, if you will.
And he
the
like pops up from behind a gravestone.
Yeah.
It's like,
I think what's happening is you guys were looking for it. So that's why.
I didn't know what to expect out of it.
Yeah. But knowing that it's like for us, like an October show, like the odds of there being ghosts and stuff involved are higher. So you guys are trying to figure out the show as you're watching it.
well, yes, but we also start trying to figure out these shows like a good year in advance because it takes so much planning, and we go through this cycle of like 100 like shows. So I think I'm confused with just confusing it with something else we've talked about doing.
You're thinking of Teen Angel, where he eats the cheeseburger and dies.
To be fair, though, what a way to go.
Is that going to be spooky dookie one year?
I've wanted to do that because it's like
I mean, that
TGIF
kind of
show,
works, yeah.
and I didn't know if it counted really or not. I guess because he's a dead character.
I mean, look, when we're scraping the barrel rather later.
If we don't get to it by next October, we might have to do it anyway. So
I don't want to derail this too much, but just a quick question for you guys as a poll here. We're all going to die. Happy October at some point. Do you guys all want to be buried and put in a cemetery, or is that like a thing that I feel like a lot of people in our generation just like that doesn't like relate to them anymore? Like me personally, I'm just gonna get cremated. I don't want to be in a gravestone. It feels weird to me to be underground.
Oh, this is really dark.
It's not dark. It's just like we're all gonna die.
I turned 40, and then now you're talking about how I want to be buried.
Or not buried.
I don't know. I'm not sold on cremation yet. But we'll see where life or death takes us. I honestly try to not think about it too much yet.
I want the full Christian caboose.
I want to be frozen like Christopher Lloyd.
So frozen today.
Frozen today.
If I'm frozen, I'd be frozen like Sylvester Stallone in Demolition Man, where you can see the agony on my face for all of the time until I'm really fucking. So, whoa! Because that was a prison freezing too. That wasn't like you chose that.
Well, like this show nails it, but like now you see like people who get buried like on their motorcycles, and then they like just put like plexiglass around it, all this kind of weird shit.
I didn't know that was a thing.
Did they do that for famed child abuser Evel Knievel?
They did not. And again, I love Evel Knievel, but again, famously bad dad. Okay, sorry. Not to rub that raw again. I want to be, if I'm not going to get cremated, I want that thing that happened to that lady a few years ago where they donated her body to science and the US government just shot a bomb at it to explode it to see what happened. Like, I would choose that. That sounds amazing.
I'm sure the army will take it.
Moving right along. So anyways, to get right into the show itself, first scene, we see an exterior shot of the Sincerity Mortuary, and that's the funeral parlor where they all work. And we cut inside and we see Warren. Warren is the brother-in-law to Ernie, which is Howie Mandel's character. And he's like in front of the television in his underwear and like a white t-shirt, and he's just brushing his teeth while watching television, standing up.
This whole thing feels odd to me.
Do you do that?
No, it feels odd to me. I'm saying that seems really weird. Yeah.
It's just, yeah. I mean, brushing your teeth is not like that long of a process that you should feel pressured to leave the room that you're that antsy.
I've mouthwashed and done that. I've walked around the house going,
I feel like if I tried to do that, I'd fuck up and swallow it. I need to be near the sink.
heavy concentration of mouthwash.
What I found odd about this, not the toothbrushing, was
What?
the Ebenezer Scrooge long shirt that he was wearing.
I don't think it's a nightshirt though. I think it's just like he's wearing a long
It's just
t-shirt
a
that
long
he wears
t-shirt.
under his suit shirt, or it's like his button up suit shirt.
I got to bring that back.
You can still buy tall tees. It's like a hip hop thing.
It's the shirt's meant to wear under his suit. It's not, that's not like the style. He's in his underwear because he's at home.
No, he looks like Ebenezer Scrooge.
Sure. Bring back that look. So
with the candle
he's sitting there
and stocking cap.
Yeah, we know what you're talking about. That's not what he was.
Who's Charles Dickens?
He felt the need to explain it.
So he's watching the television. He's watching The Ghost and Mrs. Muir, which was a movie, but it did become a sitcom in like the late 60s. So that might actually be a feature show we can cover too.
Yeah.
I looked it up. I didn't think it was real. I thought they were making a riff on The Ghost and Mr. Chicken.
No, The Ghost and Mrs. Muir is it was a movie turned show. I actually have the show downloaded because I wasn't sure what shows we were doing this year. So that one was saved. By the way, Warren's played by Joel Brooks. If you look him up, he was in everything.
He's one of those guys with like 200 TV credits.
Yeah. He's not a guy that I would say is like a best known for, but you see him and you know him.
He's in Stir Crazy, which is what I recognized him from, which is the, I think the funniest of all the Gene Wilder or Richard Pryor movies.
It cuts to commercial, and that's where we see Ernie pop up for the first time, and he's doing an ad for the funeral home. And this is one of those like commercials that's like, it's like a one-off commercial. It's not like one that's made to be aired because he's talking about the movie. It's a great movie, huh? She moves into the house, she sees a ghost, they fall in love. He's like, and then as he's talking, Warren runs back into the room. He had drifted off, and he's like, Ernie? And then it cuts into the camera moves into the commercial. He's doing this whole like bit for the mortuary, and he's, it's very upbeat. It doesn't like, I guess like for Warren's issue, it doesn't come off like sensitive for the type of work that they do.
It comes off like a used car salesman type of thing. Like,
very much so.
Or dollar bill for people from New England.
R.I.P. Dollar Bill. I'm sure he's still alive, but every time he comes up, my heart breaks for Dollar Bill. Hey, we got deals over here.
When he says, if you buy a plot today, we'll throw your loved one in free, I thought was so clever.
Like the writing of this, it works well to somebody like Howie Mandel's style because it's fast, right? Like these are the jokes that like, and again, we talked about this is a very, very dialogue heavy episode. And to be fair, I think Howie Mandel at one point deserves a fucking nomination for a monologue he gives where like, holy shit, that's really impressive.
Oh, later, yeah.
But anybody else doing this, I feel like if you slow that down even a tiny bit, well, slow and free, unless you're doing it in Beetlejuice's voice, which I feel a little bit like he's trying to do a Beetlejuice character here. It doesn't work unless it's super fast.
It's strange that he's doing like the movie of the week commercial, because that's when you'd see commercials like this back in the day. But those are always live commercials, and this is clearly recorded.
Right. Yeah, like the dirty work. Like I've never seen so many dead hookers in my whole life. Like Lord knows I have. Yeah, that's like a live cut to. That's why that joke works, which they don't do very much anymore, I don't think, right?
At all.
Not cost effective. Like
I just don't think there's enough programming in a regional area that would get enough views that it'd be worth doing live anymore,
Warren's like, oh no, as he's watching this. And then it cuts downstairs. And you see Ernie, who's at work, and he's like at a desk talking to a woman who just lost her husband. And he's like, his back's turned to her. So she's sitting like across his desk, but we're getting the perspective of him up front, like turned towards the camera. While she's talking, he's just like sniffing an onion so he can cry along with her.
Look, in this scene, I literally was just like, fuck, how long is this episode going to be? Because I thought the onion sniffing thing was so not funny. But then when she needs a tissue and he's got a paid tissue machine on the wall, I was turned right the fuck back around.
The thing with the onion is, obviously onions tear you up, but they don't make you like sob and cry. But as we learned throughout this episode, I think that's just a skill set that Ernie has, is his ability to cry on command.
Yeah, he's just like a scammer.
Yeah, so he needs the tears more as like a prop, but his ability to cry like audibly, he's got down. She's saying how her husband was like a saint, and he's like, a saint? Mrs. Hillendale, a saint? He wasn't a saint. Mr. Hillendale was a god. Starts and weeping and weeping. It was very extreme, but I found humor in it.
I didn't find humor in this scene particularly. I just felt like it was too much. I also feel like it's sociopath behavior, right? Like any regular human could relate to somebody who's just lost their partner. And you can be like a real normal person to them and help them along. But like, what is it going to get her extra? Is she going to buy like a better coffin or whatever, if he like calls this guy a god. Like this just seems so over the top and so weird. Every one of us have been in situations where they had to get somebody in a funeral home, and everyone there is very somber and very helpful. Nobody is ever like, your fucking grandmother was a saint. That's not how it works.
I was going to say, is someone who's had to make arrangements or sit in on arrangements being made. It is a very cut and dry, this is how it is, this is how we help, bing, bang, boom. That's it.
But this goes back to what Ferg was saying. He's not your the whole premise of the show is he's not your typical person who works at a funeral home, and he's coming off very used car salesman. That's like his whole shtick. The whole purpose is to see, like, here's a guy who works in this industry and operates in a way very different than normal. He's very much like a shyster. We see it later on.
One scene is not effective in redeeming this.
But that's his whole thing. He's an unsavory type of guy. And as Joe said, you know, this old woman's crying about the loss of her husband and offers her a tissue, but it's from a paid tissue dispenser that's like in his office. You work in a industry like that, you know you need tissues pretty much on command, and he charges $0.25 for them.
It's a good gag. He's got some weird things about $0.25 in this episode. There is one part, the only part of that monologue that I'm like, wait, what? Is also related to $0.25.
When she goes to get the tissues, like, and walks like towards the other side of the room, is when Warren runs in. He's like, "You're a disgrace. Where's your sense of dignity?" And then as he's going on about it, Mrs. Hillendale's standing behind him, and bear in mind, this dude is still just in his underwear and in a t-shirt. So as he turns around and sees her, he like first is embarrassed, but has that instant tone change where he goes from screaming at Ernie to going, "Oh, yes, of course. We're so sorry to hear about Harold's." I'm not dressed, am I?
The voice change, I think, is very, very funny. But also, like, unless your house is on fire, like, even if you're mad or freaking out, like, has anybody here ever ran outside in their underwear?
Plenty of times.
Who's not Gordo? I feel like who's not Gordo and
I have.
Gordo post you stopping drinking. Like, I can't imagine you just doing that now.
I think, like, I mean, maybe to like grab a package if it's like on my front steps.
Exactly.
But that's different though. That's you running out in such a fluster that you were like, I forgot my pants.
But this is also like they live upstairs. You know what I mean? It's not like he got in his car and drove down the street in his underwear. He lives in an apartment upstairs from where they do business.
He knows it's a business. It's weird him being the professional one to do that.
That's always freaked me out.
I think it depends where you stand, Gordo, like with like ghosts and stuff. But I'm not a big believer in ghosts and things of that nature. But yeah, I guess I would also have a strong uneasiness of being like living in a house where I know there's like 6 dead bodies like in the basement right now.
Yeah, even if you don't believe in ghosts, it's just unsettling.
Yeah, so yeah, let me retract what I
it's
said.
just
It's
weird.
creepy regardless.
You're not a believer after we went to the Zach Baggins Museum in Vegas.
Well, luckily we made it home safe. I'll tell you this. I'm not a strong believer, but when they say, hey, if you could leave like a little token of whatever so they don't haunt you and try to kill you, all right,
I'm leaving one.
I will
Yeah.
leave $1. Yeah.
I don't believe in any sort of afterlife stuff, but ghosts, I'm like, there's bad juju in the world, and I feel like ghosts can, like, I don't know, there's something. It makes me weird.
But yeah, I don't know if I could, because I don't know why. It does seem like a lot of funeral homes exist in that way, right? Where they're like family operated and they live upstairs. Like, I don't know why that's such a thing, but it seems to be a thing.
Then it would be called a funeral business, not a funeral home.
Well, as long as there's love there, it's a funeral home. If there's no love, it's just a funeral house.
That's a much better joke than mine.
Well,
They
Weird.
both suck.
So he runs down in a hurry. I guess like there's a chance that he doesn't know Ernie's actively working with someone. But yeah, I guess anytime you get to the office part of your home, you should probably, knowing someone could be there, you should probably just toss the pants on.
It's also weird too that we have some sort of weird, like, not we, but like humans now have the technology where like you can keep a person sort of in stasis for like a long time. Like Gordo, that's a big thing in like the church, right? Like, isn't that kid who was like, they just made a saint who died like 10 years ago as a teenager? Isn't he still viewable?
Yes, because he's a saint.
All right. I probably should have stepped a different direction on that one. There are people who've lied in state in like Russia and things, right?
Correct.
Who, like,
Yeah. So there are. Yeah. No. The church does embalm. Like I think they did the Pope Francis. But Yeah, we have the technology now, and I think Lenin is still
That's
Lenin or
thinking of Lenin,
Stalin
yeah.
that like is still visible.
Yeah, and Walt Disney's head is still kept frozen under Disney.
That's Frozen.
Frozen is different.
Oh, I thought that's what you were talking about.
No, I'm talking about him bombing.
Do you think he'd be bummed out if he was woken up and found out that Steamboat Willie could do any sort of sexual things or marry any person that Walt Disney would not be into anymore?
I think he'd be like, "Where's my body? I'm all head."
I can't make the joke I was going to make. Never mind.
Walt, welcome back. Unfortunately, the year is 2025, and we need to teach you about something called public domain. All your life's work's about to be usable for free by anybody.
It's so weird coming up on that stuff now, because, like, for my end, right, like, my daughter loves Winnie the Pooh right now. It's, like, her big thing. Like, we have all, like, I'm constantly just, like, deep in the heart. Like, it's all that stuff is, like, in my brain. And then you look up Winnie the Pooh, and they're like, oh, there's movies about him being a murderer and all this shit, because it's so old that it's now public. And you're like, well, fuck, now I'm terrified of her searching it when she gets older and being like, why did Winnie the Pooh kill everybody? Be like, I'm so sorry. Piglet didn't deserve that.
And that's when you get to say, I get to teach you a little something about public domain.
Law class.
Bring that full circle. It was good. It was a good one.
That was good. No, that was very good.
So, with all that in mind, Harold runs out. Ernie's talking to Mrs. Hillendale. He starts telling her his vision for her husband's funeral. Joe mentions this at the top of the episode because it's, I see a small group of friends. Oh, Harold loved his friends. Soft music playing. He loves soft music. A chorus of young boys. Harold loved young boys. And he goes, we heard.
It's a great joke.
Then he says, everywhere candles flickering in celebration. So she's very sold on this idea of this extravagant funeral that he's going to be planning, which obviously means a lot of money for him.
Yeah.
It's a weird thing to make margins on, though. You know what I mean? Like, everything's a business.
It's a business, yeah.
But, like, I wonder, like thinking back, I remember when I used to hang in garage doors, right? Like, there's, like, a book. Like, these are the prices they cost for you, and these are the prices you sell. Every business has one of those books. You know what I mean? Like, this is how you make your margins on it. I would love to know what a coffin costs versus what a coffin is sold for.
A wooden box with a little bit of padding.
But some are so crazy expensive. I want the Kiss one. It's a coffin, too. I mean, a cooler, too.
It's a cooler, yeah.
Yeah, it's insulated.
They have a cure death. They can reanimate you.
Okay, I changed my mind. I want to be cremated unless I can go in a Kiss coffin.
So it says, the typical markup on a casket at a funeral home is substantial, often ranging from 300% to 500% above wholesale costs. And this
That's
can vary. The high
fucking
markup is
bananas.
due to factors like the duopoly held by the large manufacturers such as Batesville and Matthews, who sell exclusively to funeral homes, and the captive customer situation, where families often don't shop around for the best price during their time of grief.
You hear that, Batesville and Matthews? S1E1 pod is coming for you.
But no, it's one of those things. It's like when you're in a crunch, sometimes you just don't, it's not that you don't think, but you just don't even have the time. Like, you're going to get things done. So what are you going to do? Like, oh, keep grandpa in this box. I got to call a few places. Hopefully by the end of the week, I find a better quote. Like, you just don't.
Know. They did it to all the people during COVID.
People were just in, like, cooler trucks and shit, yeah.
The other thing, too, is how much, I can't imagine holding someone in a funeral home costs money. Like, that's got to cost you X amount per day.
Sure. And I don't want to get too into it because it's a little, I know the nature of the show, but it's a little morbid. And
Well, it's spooky dooky. This is the dooky part of the spooky.
I will say this, one more quick tangent, and I'll do this one quick. I was back in our hometown recently for a few hours the other day.
he mentions that because he didn't tell anybody when he was here.
I told all of you that I was going to be there.
That you would be here.
But I have
Not
a
when you were here.
18-month-old baby, though, so we have very finite windows, and we had to leave when we had to leave. But Ferg, I was basically on your property.
Yeah, I remember the quote, Ferg, I'll be up the street from you. Even if we can't hang out, I'll stop by and say hi.
Did he?
No.
Ferg, you're the one person on this call who should understand when a baby is screaming and it's time to go, that you're like, I can't do anything. I just to get in the car and fucking go. I had to listen to Humpty Dumpty for fucking 60 miles immediately. So there was no saying hi to Ferg. But, and he had a great fall. We drove by the hospital that was a hospital when we were kids. It's now condos. What did they do with the morgue that building, is that where the fucking laundry machines are now? Like, that's such a weird thing. It's almost like a hospital is like a funeral home. People die there all the fucking time, and they store bodies there.
There's no way that ain't super haunted.
Oh, the old hospital right near Ferg's house. Yeah.
It's probably the walk-in refrigerator for the kitchen.
Is there a restaurant in there?
It's an assisted living place, like independent living. I imagine that there's a place to prepare food.
This lettuce tastes like death. Woo! What a bummer that is.
This place got old man stink.
So when Ernie gets rid of Mrs. Hillenbrand, he kind of rushes her off and says that, I need time to, think and get my head straight. I have to plan the funeral for a god. No sooner does he leave, he calls for Raul for the first time. And that, we mentioned him earlier, is basically his like little Igor, ready on command, never says a word, and will basically do anything he asks of him at any time. He is to a point where it's so extreme where it almost is too much for a show that's supposed to be grounded in like some sort of reality.
It's a bit much, yeah. It's a bit.
He teeters the line for sure. But he calls for him and he runs out and he says, the Hillendale funeral, give him a number 12, hold the angel. Why no angel? I thought he was trying to give him the works.
Yeah, it seems like that woman would have been like pro-angel.
He loved angels.
I think he's trying to bilk her for every penny. I think the angel is like another add-on fee for her.
That's what the angel is.
So when Raul runs out, Warren runs back in. Now he's dressed up and he goes, television? You went on television? Like, oh, you saw the commercial. How did I look? How did you look? And they go back and forth from me. Yeah, how did you look? How do I look? He says, Ernie, listen, we got to talk. He's like, oh, my brother-in-law wants to talk. I love this kid. Raul. And he calls Raul back in. And now Raul has like these big black like rubber gloves on from, I don't know, getting somebody ready, I suppose.
Yeah, my assumption with those big gloves is that he was running some liquids into a body.
Yeah, and he goes, my brother-in-law wants to talk. Quick, apples and cheese, apples and cheese.
This is such a weird joke, because he's like, Swiss, not cheddar, which, by the way, is the wrong decision. But also, like, what are we doing here? Why are we putting so much time in the apples and cheese?
It's weird because, like, all right, not that they don't go together. I understand like cheese and crackers. I understand
charcuterie boards,
charcuterie specifically, but like to be like to go like apples and cheese. What is going on here?
It must be a reference to something that we don't know.
It made me think of the little berries and cream guy.
Oh, it could be that.
Well, I don't know who that guy is.
Berries and cream. I'm a little lad who loves berries and cream. That guy.
Yeah, who is that?
You don't remember that?
Is that a video?
Guess just us, Jay.
It was a commercial.
Were they Starburst or Skittles?
Skittles, I think.
Oh,
I love Skittles. I don't remember that.
Okay.
I think it was Skittles.
Okay, yeah, I remember that now.
So they get into this long discussion. He's like, I don't think this is for you. He's like, have you thought about going, back to Buffalo to run for Congress again? He's like, they won't let me. Like, what about that evangelist thing? You like doing that? He's like, they ran me out of town. So we're learning a lot about this Ernie guy. And he's, again, I said shyster earlier. It sounds like he's someone who's always got a new scheme and somehow it's not welcome in a lot of the places he's been in the past.
I mean, that makes sense.
Crooked politician, crooked televangelist, and now crooked. I feel televangelist, though, does fall into, I guess, mortuary sciences, right? I can see you being able to be a crooked mortuarian.
No.
God,
No.
death, selling, sales. It's all sales. Basically, the whole thing's sales, right? Always be closing coffins.
Yeah, it's just all stuff of him taking advantage of people. So he can fit in anywhere.
His brother-in-law's like, hey, listen, I've been thinking a lot about this. I've made up my mind. I'm going to have to ask you to leave. Ernie just looks at him for a second and goes, you have nice hair. You know that, Warren? He's like, Ernie, this is serious. Like, you have to listen to me. He's like, I can't listen to you, Warren. It hurts too much. Your words, they cut to me like knives. Like, I can't take the pain. I can't listen to your hurtful words. Where's my onion? So he's, at all times, he's a bit performative.
He's too much.
I agree.
Like, at this point, like, it's
a lot.
off-putting. And I know he's meant to be, but
And Warren's telling him, you've been here for 3 months and you're turning this business into an absolute circus. He's like, that's not true at all. And then no sooner does he say that, you just see a clown run in to be like, huh? Like basically like showing him an outfit.
I thought that was Raul.
Was it Raul?
I think so.
That's Raul in the clown outfit, yeah.
Raul doing cheese and stuff still, isn't
He's
he?
a man of many talents.
He's a busy man. Also, it's not over yet, but I would like to note this opening scene in the office is 9 fucking minutes long.
The long scene, yeah.
In 22-minute episode, 9 minutes is in this one location. I think it's telling that like you have people who can talk enough to keep it there. But even with people like us who watch this stuff with a critical eye and can be like, it's impressive that they did this, blah, blah, blah. It's like they needed to change something here halfway through. Like it drags on. You're stuck in this one dreary location and the jokes start wearing thin because you don't leave.
Yeah, like have him try to like get out of the situation and have him following him throughout the house. Then you get to know the set a little more and stuff.
Right. Or walk through where Raul is working with a body and have like, a sheet over a body and he walks through and he makes a joke. Like do something. But 9 minutes is a long fucking time. It's almost the entire episode, half the episode,
Yeah, I agree. The whole thing with the clown is I was so confused. I was like, did I miss something?
I'll say this too. I don't know if you guys may feel different than I do, but this was a long scene and we've had this happen with a few other shows. I remember a month plus ago when we did like The Building and it like didn't leave that one room for like a good chunk of the episode. I think even longer, and feeling like it was really dragging because I wasn't getting a lot of like movement within the show. I didn't get that as much here. I think maybe because of how like spastic Howie Mandel's character is. So I think because he's such a fast talking guy, like those quirks sped it up for me a little bit and it didn't feel like it was dragging as I was watching a long scene.
Raul popping in and out too, kind of cutting the scene helped a little bit too, I think.
I think, Jay, to your point, when he's doing the classic Howie Mandel stuff and he's like, okay, like doing all that, like you're just like brought into it by his charm that you're like, okay, I'm not noticing like the time or whatever, but I feel like it's a dreary, dark set no matter what, because you're in a fucking funeral home. But I feel like when you don't have something like that to be like distracted by, it just like it's too much in one place.
When Warren and him are talking about like the legacy of this place and how it's been like family owned for like 60 years, it's countered by Ernie being like, how do we update and change this? Even suggesting like changing the name. And at first, like, what about Ernie's? Huh? Maybe we'll call it Ernie's. And it's like, no, that sounds like a steakhouse. Like, well, Warren's maybe? And then he goes, nah, that sounds like a gay bar.
That's a funny joke, but Warren's and Ernie's are not, you know what I mean? Like I get it's funny because you laugh at first and then you think.
Ernie's Steakhouse, I'll give you. I don't know about Warren's gay bar. That just felt more as a retaliation blow.
Have you guys ever been into any gay bars at all?
Yes.
Yeah, right. You walk in, they're usually called something like fucking Warren's, right? Like it's just a bar. Like it's not like Greg's bar for only gay people. And you walk in and there's no weirdness about it. You don't have to be gay to be in there.
I think I talked about this years ago on an episode, but I found myself in Chicago and there was a bar like across from our hotel. And like we didn't realize until we were going in that it was a gay bar, but it was a dive bar. It was like a weird like Armenian gay bar. It was a very specific lane, but it was like an old dive bar. It wasn't like clubby or anything like that.
You didn't accidentally go into the Blue Oyster Club?
Is that like the men's Pink Pony Club?
That's the gay bar from Police Academy. They always in that bet.
Blue Oyster Club.
The Pink Pony Club is like an actual strip club in Atlanta, right?
I think it's in Hollywood. I think the song specifically says it's in West Hollywood.
I thought it was one of like the famous ones, like Kevin Nash and those guys all worked at.
I don't know. I do know that West Hollywood is like a huge
in the song?
like gay area.
Again, that song, it's just like a cursory thing I've heard in the background. But
I'll keep on dancing out in West Hollywood.
Okay, that's a lyric then, yeah.
I'll take your word for it again.
It's one of those things I just hear in the background sometimes, and I'm like, okay.
Tell you, West Hollywood, when we were in that, like we drove by because we were staying like right in that area. Area was bumping.
Yeah, well, they got Chapel Roan dancing in Pink Pony Club.
She wasn't famous yet when we were there. She wasn't dancing there.
Or she could have been and you didn't know.
Maybe she was dancing there because she wasn't famous.
But all that to say, I feel like Ernie's or Warren's could equally be a gay bar. And it's like not a joke that really works. It's funny when he says that, but you're like, then you break it down and you're like, that's silly. Why are we making this joke?
Maybe if it was Bert and Ernie's.
I have a lot of Bert and Ernie stuff in my life these days, and I was reading a book the other day, and it was Bert and Ernie at the beach, and Ernie is relaxing on a chair, enjoying the sun with his shoes off, and Bert is reading a book with his sandals on together, and I was like, that's the sweetest couple. They're so different, but they're so together. You know, like it's like they're so different, and like it's the weird shit you pick up when you're reading that shit. You know, at our age now, you're like, oh, I see what they're
Just
doing.
roommates, damn it. We've been over this.
Yeah, and Oscar and Slimy are just roommates.
Who's Slimy?
Slimy's a pet.
Slimy is Oscar's pet worm. How do you not know who Slimy is? How do you not know who Oscar's pet worm is?
I don't remember Slimy.
Gordon doesn't remember anything, in fairness. I mean,
I was going to say, yeah, like anybody else would be like, how dare you? But Gordon, you remember what we talked about like 10 minutes ago, so I can't be mad about it.
I don't.
do you remember on Sesame Street there's a guy named Gordon?
I do.
I think he's still on it, too. He's much older now.
So, anyways, moving right along from there. They're talking about potentially name changing. Not that they would. Warren's mad. He's still going over some other stuff that's come up lately. He's like, he was going to stuff somebody, apparently.
Stuff a woman, yeah.
Yeah, Mrs. Dresden. It's like, that's what her husband wanted. It's like, yeah, we don't stuff people. We don't do that here.
I mean, what's the issue? They're going on the ground.
It's illegal. It's actually illegal to stuff you can't stuff a human. It is illegal.
Yeah, I think it's illegal.
I don't think his plan was to bury her if he was going to do like a taxidermy thing.
No, if you taxidermy, you do this in the corner. Like, that's what you do, right?
I'd be afraid too much. Like, I don't know if you've guys seen like those memes that are like the bad taxidermy. Like, you could really fuck.
I don't
Fuck
care if
that
it's
up.
good taxidermy. I don't want human taxidermy in my house. That's not the idea of it coming out bad is not the reason I don't want it.
Well, the problem is, too, is like hair and skin, like hair is hair and skin is like leather. You can tan it. You can make it last forever, right? Like, that's what a leather jacket is. It's just a fucking cow's skin or whatever. The big problem for me is that eyes, the dead eyes of taxidermy. If you try to put like a dead fox or squirrel eyes on a human, it would be so fucking creepy. Because you can't make, even glass eyes don't look real.
Just put the googly eyes like in Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
You remember me when you stuffed my mother? I died just like this! That's the crossover to getting this woman stuffed. That's what I was going for. I'm going to go home now. I'll see you guys later.
I like how Warren says that he's never stuffed a woman before.
He's never mounted a woman before. I think stuffed is a better joke. I think you're writing that better.
Okay.
Because, like, mounting is, like, obviously a sexual joke. But if he said, I've never stuffed a woman before, like, I think that's, like, a funnier, dirtier joke.
Yeah. Yeah, because mounting can't be any different, right? Same thing.
I mean, mounting, you can infer sex, but stuffing, I feel like...
Is sex, yeah.
It's like there's no question there. Unless it's stovetop. And if it's stuffing, I'm staying.
So eventually Warren gets ready to leave. As he's walking off, Ernie gives him that little smack in the butt. When he leaves, he calls for Raul again. Now Raul runs in with like a chef hat on and the cheese and apple plate.
Raul is very busy.
He's like, I do find it funny. He's got this weird Igor meets Minion meets Oompa Loompa quality towards him.
This is the kind of thing I think we're missing in our generation now, where like character actors, like everyone has to be fucking hot. Like, it's bullshit. We're like, oh, this is our character Igor in the movie. He's got a six-pack. Like, no, like, let the weirdo people be weirdos. That's what is interesting about people. We don't get actors like this anymore that get jobs. It's like, everyone has to be fucking Superman.
I don't know. There's some pretty ugly actors now.
Yeah, but they probably still also have six-packs, because they can be like, he's unattractive, but like when his shirt's off and he's at the beach for fucking TMZ. Like, no one's just like an ugly, funny person. That documentary is coming out soon about John Candy, and you're like, John Candy was one of the funniest, sweetest men of all time. He was like not...
Well, I didn't know you thought he was ugly, you piece of shit.
I don't think he's ugly. I'm just saying he's not what we don't have a John Candy now. We don't have a John Belushi now.
Yeah, we do. We have that Paul Walter Hausen now.
I mean, that dude...
Dan Housen's brother.
That dude is amazing, and I will give you that. I do love him as an actor, but I feel like...
We have Will Ferrell. He's not handsome or fit.
Wow, I'm going to tell Will Ferrell you said that.
Don't. I love him.
He's gonna make you watch Bewitched for 24 hours to make you
No!
say sorry for saying that about him.
I have a question when it comes to Raul, to bring it back in. Did Raul come with the house, or is he Ernie's pet?
He's not a pet. He works there.
I think he's their undertaker.
Okay, because I wasn't sure. Because he seemed to do what Ernie says.
I forget the number. I looked it up. People wash out of mortuary science school like crazy, right? Like people think they want to do that as a job, and then they realize it's a fucking gnarly job and wash out. So if you've got like a good person on your staff who is like a good undertaker, I think you take care of them, you treat them right, you profit share them, you keep them happy, because it's hard to find somebody else who like wants to do that job. It's a pretty fucking crazy job.
Yeah.
When he runs back in, this is when we get the speech from Ernie where he goes, okay, go to my garage, get my Pinto, open the trunk, take the shovel off the wall, put it in the trunk, then close the trunk, drive the Pinto to plot 17A, open the trunk, take the shovel out, and dig a hole down till you hit a red Maserati. Pull the Maserati out of the hole, and then take the Vent Melner woman out of the Maserati, put her in the Pinto, and then drive the Pinto into the hole. Take the shovel and fill up the hole, then take the shovel and toss it in the trunk of the Maserati, take the Maserati to the car wash, don't forget the hot wax, and tip the Puerto Rican a quarter, and then take the Maserati back to my house and hang the shovel on the wall and bring me a Diet Dr. Pepper, no ice.
I think this honestly is like the tour de force of the episode, and he does it twice. We'll get to the next one, but like, Howie Mandel, I'm a fan. This is very impressive.
Keep in mind now, this means, for those of you who are listening, there was a woman that they buried in a Maserati, like put her in her car and buried the entire car, which is no way that fits a single plot. So you definitely need a double plot for that.
Double plot. I think you need more than that. Yeah.
Maybe the 4-person plot?
Quad plot? The quad?
I've got a quad. Dude, it's fucking crazy when you walk by, because like around here, we live in New England, right? Like it's the oldest part of the country. So like stuff you want to do is usually adjacent to cemeteries, and you're like,
first off, how's this guy? Raul has to dig this hole by himself. So he's going to go get this Pinto.
No backhoe.
Dig a giant hole, get this car out of the hole, then move the body out of the Maserati, put it in the Pinto, drive the Pinto in, and now bury the Pinto, and then clean up the Maserati and then leave it at Ernie's house. So basically what's happening is Ernie is stealing this car from a dead woman.
I like that he has no problem stealing from the dead, stealing the Maserati, but he still wants to keep her wish of her being buried in a car.
Yes.
So he puts her in his car and buries it. It's like, at that point, like, no one will know. You could have just left the body in the dirt and reburied it. But
to bury your fucking Pinto, your death machine Pinto.
And then after that scene, we cut to later on. Ernie's in bed looking at the newspaper, and we hear the voice of his wife, Debbie, from like outside of the room. By the way, if you recognize that voice, that's Wendy Shaw. You know her as Francine from American Dad.
Oh, okay. I did not, but that's interesting.
So you would know her voice more than you would know her face anyways.
I personally know her from Mrs. Rumfeld from The Burbs. You know Bruce Dern's like hot wife? It's like, Rumsfeld, your wife! With Corey Feldman, that's her. Because she's in like, a bunch of Jonade stuff, which is like a secondary Gremlins thing, right? We just talked about earlier with Howie Mandel.
Burbs is such an underrated movie.
The Burbs is one of those movies that should just play like once a month on TV, no matter what, so people can see it. It's so fucking funny.
She's asking Ernie what he's doing. He's like, oh, walking the dog, my sweet. And then it like cuts to a wider shot, and now you see the dog's next to the bed on a treadmill. Gordo, you seem upset?
That's not how you walk a dog. Dog's not overweight.
Well, yes, Gordo. Obviously, that's not how you walk a dog. Like, there's supposed to be humor in it. But my only fear would be, I don't think it's necessarily bad. It's more, it's the idea that an accident can happen if the dog doesn't, abruptly stops or something like that.
Oh, I was thinking the dog was going to poo-poo.
That dog's small. That dog could stop wanting to run and get sucked under the fucking thing and get scalped.
That wasn't a small dog.
No, he wasn't small. It's like Martha says.
Small. Well, I would say small enough under that circumstance.
Small enough, I think, that its head could get sucked under it without being able to pull it back out.
That being said, if that dog did take a shit, that thing's launching shit across the room.
That's what I'm saying. Or pee-pee, that's spraying all over the place.
I think the most important thing to talk about here is that this is a bad joke. Aside from the poo-poo pee-pee implications that may happen, we finally cut away after 9 minutes from the fucking one-shot scene we're doing, and we have a dog on a treadmill while Howie Mandel's wearing a fucking hairnet smoking a cigar. This is a bad fucking
There's
cut.
no way to do that scene without really doing it, right? Especially at this.
No, that dog's on a treadmill for sure, yeah.
Do you think that would fly today, even if there's like a safe way to monitor it?
It does actually.
Yeah, they do that in real life.
They put dogs on treadmills and stuff?
Yep.
Yeah, but that's to like help them lose weight.
Yeah, usually it's for weight loss. You wouldn't do that to, because their walks like recreationally, they pee pee poo poo.
But you would have them like on a leash or something in case something happened, right?
Well, the leash might also, though, get sucked under.
Not if it's tied to the top.
I see it a lot more often too, the treadmills in a pool.
In a pool, yep.
But
Extra resistance, right?
yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I have heard of it. Especially during COVID when people are afraid to like walk outside for long periods of time. Got people doing that.
When they finally like turn it off, or when he tells the dog, like, all right, that's enough, you hear like that like thud, and I was like, oh, what
Yeah.
did you do?
That's the first time I laughed in this whole show. he stopped. He stopped the treadmill and the dog kept running.
I will say this, though. Every time we talk about this stuff, you're like, it only went 13 episodes. It didn't get a second season. You're like,
Oh,
this is
shit. Yeah.
not a good show.
Well, I don't know when the best time to bring this up would be, so I guess I'll just get into it like now. But a show like this, and I was thinking about this earlier today, actually. It's not even like just this show, but like as we've covered now so many, we're getting closer to 250 episodes at this point. When you have like a gimmick like this, there's only so far you can go with the show with storylines. And then when you look back now and you think of like, what are the longest running, most popular shows? They're all workplace comedies and family ones. But the idea of this workplace being like a small family run, I mean, I guess you could always have interesting customers coming in and out, but I just feel like there's only so many situations they can get into working in this industry.
I know this is more of a green light or cancel conversation, but I think where they fucked up is that he shouldn't be dating the sister. He should be pining for the sister. Because then you have the whole, like, he's chasing after her as at least a plot device where they can go on dates, they can do stuff. He's trying to get her. He dates somebody else. She dates somebody else.
No, but he has to be with her because that's the excuse to keep him around. The other guy can't get rid of him because he's with her.
But you could easily write it in that, like, there's something that keeps him there. Yeah, you find out he owns a stake in the property, so they can't get rid of him. Like, you could do some dumb sitcom bullshit, but at least make it so it's not like her coming to bed and being like, I love you, you weirdo, in your hairnet with your cigar, your fucking dogs on the treadmill, and you're a fake televangelist. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me. We need to know what the story is of how they got together, because it doesn't make any sense that anybody would love him, because he's not that good he's a good talker, but not a good talker in a way that you'd...
He opened her cage, Joe.
I'll tell you this. The dialogue of them two in the bed is when the show officially lost me. Not to completely tip my cap, but man, I was like, this show sucks.
They get into bed and they get under the covers and they start cuddling up. And he says, who is Ernie Lapidus? And she goes, a scoundrel and a rake. And who loves him? The girl in the cage. Why? Because he opened the door. And does he love her? Oh, yes. And how does she know? Because of all the cages he ever rattled, hers was the only one he opened. And then they tell each other goodnight and start kissing. And I'm like, what did I just listen to?
It doesn't fucking work. It's so weird.
No, it's fucking, it's fucking beyond weird.
Honestly, they should have picked an uglier actress. So it's like he's using her because he's so shady. He's using her for a job or something.
What they should have gotten was it Ann Betts. I forget her name. The mother from Throw Mar for the Train.
Alan! But
you open the cage!
It's wet, isn't it?
Oh, no. I don't like that.
Oh, that hit me late.
The worst outtake from this ever.
I licked it.
So the thing is, this dialogue, I don't even understand what they're going for. Like, I don't know. People don't talk like this. And this is a very odd conversation for the two of them to have. And I can't get my head around like what I'm even supposed to be consuming at this moment.
I think it's supposed to be like Romeo and Juliet. Am I misinterpreting it?
No, because that was good.
Yeah, I don't know if this is a direct pull from something with the cage, but...
And again, we're talking about somebody who's a good writer, so it's not knocking their work, but I don't think this is Shakespeare level. Why is Shakespeare going twice so far in this episode? It's fucking crazy.
The two start kissing, and then Ernie does the little clap to turn the lights off.
He's got a clapper.
And like a moment later, we hear a noise from outside the room. It's like, what was that? It was a noise. There was a noise? Yeah. He goes, oh, go look. I'll guard. She gets out of bed.
A scumbag.
Yeah, that's so hard. Like, that's the kind of writing we talk about this all the time, but it makes you not. It's one step too far to make you not like a character.
And before she leaves to see what's going on, she looks at him and goes, be careful. And he goes, don't worry. So she has it in her mind that he's doing the dangerous job by just staying in bed.
And again, the way another sitcom would handle this at this time is he puts on her robe and has like the very feminine robe on, and then he goes downstairs and she's like, be careful. He's like, I've got this. Like, that's how you make that joke work, but not make the character be unlikable, but still do like the dark, dumb joke.
Could have taken the dog with her in case it was a prowler.
Yeah, where's the dog actually in this situation? That's a great point. Did the dog die?
It fucking died because you hear it run into the wall and then you never see it again. They don't even allude
As
to
we go
it again.
It's so funny sometimes watching these shows and being like, this shit's stupid. And then we talk about it, like, analytically. You're like, this is the dumbest shit we've ever had to deal with ever.
I'm telling you, Doodle, she would let you know that someone is there.
Most dogs would, right? Like, dogs are
Yeah.
apt to fucking bark when something's changing in their scenario.
Well, they figured, I mean, they heard someone. They knew someone was there, too. This isn't a mystery. They heard a sound. She makes her way into the kitchen and turns the light on, and that's when we just see, like, a kid standing in the middle of the room. Now, I'll say, at this point, this is when I was kind of like, is he a ghost? Like, thought maybe that was going to be the thing where, like, ghosts keep popping up.
No, Casper, not now.
Uh-oh. The ghost of a little boy.
Look, he's not actually a ghost. Oh, bye. Well, that was easy tonight now.
The thing is, it's like, I thought for a second this was the little kid from Big, the movie Big with Tom Hanks, because he's dressed exactly like him with the same haircut.
My hamster died. Let's play the giant piano. I looked this kid up. His name is something Silver, and he only has one credit, so I'm guessing it's Stu Silver's child.
Oh, that makes sense.
Probably.
This is his one credit?
This is his one credit, which I'm sure he talks about at the bar. I was on a TV show once.
With Howie Mandel.
You ever see Good Grief with Howie Mandel?
And Debbie's telling this kid, like, do you have any idea what time it is? He's like, no, but it's important. He asks, like, does Ernie Lapidus live here? He does. May I ask who's calling? Just a kid. Okay. And then she calls Ernie. And Ernie, like, hesitantly, like, heads out. The kid's asking, like, are you Ernie Lapidus? It's like, what's it to you? Well, I saw you on TV. Oh, yeah? How'd I look? And the kid's like, you lack dignity.
That's a great fucking line, though. Good for this kid. He delivers this perfectly.
And then he says, well, what do you want? He's like, Uncle Boris died. He's like, where's Uncle Boris now? In bed? He's like, no, he's in this bag. Like, oh, he was a smallish man, wasn't he? He wasn't a man, he was a hamster.
Where is this kid's parents?
It's late. They're going to bed. What is this little kid doing alone walking to a mortuary with a hamster in a brown paper sack? It does not make any sense. Also, this is not saying anything bad about Howie Mandel, but he's a very unique looking person. Where he's like, are you Ernie Lapidus? Like, I feel like it's an unnecessary question to ask. Like, are you Howie Mandel? But like, if you walked up and saw Howie Mandel in the 80s or 90s with the big hair and like the exaggerated face, you'd be like, oh, that's Howie Mandel. You wouldn't be like,
well,
I
that
should
hair was
question
like
this.
way more common at this time. Like his hair wasn't.
He was in a hairnet.
That hairstyle was used by many.
I guess he was in a hairnet, yeah.
He wasn't a hairnet at that point. Maybe that was the disguise.
But he also saw him on TV, so he'd know that's him.
Well, wasn't crystal clear HD back then. So, but yeah, when we find out he's a hamster, he's like, oh, why are you doing this? He's like, well, will you do it?
It makes no sense, this kid showing up in the middle of the night. 'Cause where are his parents?
he clearly walked through a cemetery because their property is a big house on a cemetery.
Hey, it's a different time. I mean, there's no ring cameras. You know, he's young. His pet just died, and he ran out of the house. His parents are probably asleep. But now, while he's up there, Warren runs up the stairs. He's like, Ernie. He's like, Warren, can't you see I'm in the middle of a very private matter right now? Ernie, there are 2 policemen waiting for you downstairs. And he goes, great. I'm sorry, kid. I'm a little busy right now. And the kid's like, when's the funeral? He's like, what? When is it? Tomorrow. And he tries to shoot this kid off. Kid leaves.
I don't know why I find it so funny, but I love that Warren is like, not 1 policeman, 2 policemen. You had to do something so wrong to get multiple police off, like, which is like, if you see a cop at your door, you're like, shit. You see 2 cops, you're like, I'm going to jail. Like, they sent backup, you know?
It's kind of weird that they all live there. I get the owners living there, but like the entire family lives in the funeral home and the employees.
It's usually a pretty big house on top of them, though. Like, that's everything we grew up with, right? Like, all those funeral homes.
Yeah, but I'm sure that's usually just like the mortician, not like his extended family.
Well, it's a brother and sister. They own the place. So.
Yeah. As long as one of them doesn't get killed by bees, you're usually okay.
Think about this, though. Like, funeral homes can hold, like, probably 60 plus people in the living room. Like,
depends how you store them.
I will say this. I went to a funeral last year, and it was the most modern funeral home I've ever been to, and it felt unfucking comfortable by how modern funeral home was. There was, like, fucking neon signs everywhere, and, like, it just felt too weird to be like, I'm here because my cousin's dead, and you guys are, like, basically doing ads like a fucking sandwich shop across everything. It felt very uncomfortable.
So it was like run by the people from this show.
Basically, yeah. And I think that's what funeral homes are gonna turn into, right? Because like generations pass away, and like the new expectation is more flashy and blah blah blah, and had all the stuff you'd expect. There was fucking, you know, tissues in every corner and people there to greet you who were very respectful, but it was big and bright and open and flashy. It wasn't like an old house like it always was when we were kids. Like, there was no Catholic guilt when you walked in, like you're used to feeling when you walk into a funeral home in the Northeast. It was like very bright and new.
Funeral homes for me were always, as someone who struggles with allergies, the second I walked in, it was like getting punched in the face.
Just like the rose smell and all that shit.
All the flowers everywhere. It was like awful.
To get back, when Warren is talking to his sister and says that whole thing about like 2 policemen, when he just tosses the hamster in the freezer, not carefully, just throws it in, you go, ugh.
I bet it made a sound.
I imagine it was harder because I think it was probably
Rigor mortis.
stiff.
In all fairness, that's how we treat humans.
I mean, that is true. I mean, like if you look into, I have before, if you look into like what we do to humans to embalm them and the process and it's fucking gnarly, dude.
After he threw it in the freezer, you hear the cop from downstairs like, hey, how about it, pal? He's like, yeah, I'm coming. He's like, Ernie? Yes. He goes, I don't like you. And he heads back down the stairs.
You do feel for this guy though, right? Who's like been running a very specific family business for fucking 30 years or whatever. And this like weird fucking snake oil salesman comes in and is throwing everything off. And there's cops here all of a sudden. Yeah.
He just marries into the family.
And after Warren does leave, Debbie's like, telling him like, oh, Ernie, it's probably nothing. You know how Warren overreacts. Ernie? And then she heads into her bedroom and you see like the sheets all tied to the bedpost to make like the long rope so Ernie can escape out the window.
This is like my favorite joke of the entire episode because I love the dumb joke of like, it would have taken him so long to tie these sheets together. So either he had them ready because he knew he'd have to leave at some point that quickly, or he's just like a cartoon character who can do it. Either way, it's a very funny joke.
She comes in and says, again with the sheets. So this is something he's done before.
So he has like a suitcase full of sheets that are tied in knots just in case he has to bail.
He's like, I'll send for you. And that's when she's like, no, like you're done running. You've always, like, you spend your whole life running.
Why is that a trope? The sheets tied together to get out a window.
I think it's from jail. Like, that's how people escape jail.
Yeah, it's like how you could escape jail. It's like the only thing you could do. I mean, Rapunzel is probably the first one, right? But like, nobody in this
I don't
story
trust
has
my
hair.
ability to tie a knot well enough to support my weight.
Yeah, no, I mean, it barely supported Epstein's.
I feel like he died under the weight of immense pressure than anything else. But also another thing too, right? Like kind of dark, but look up the history of prisoners who tried to do this and didn't make it. There was a lot of prisoners who were like, I can do this, and then fell like 40 feet, and then were like, well, you're still in prison, but now you're in a wheelchair, so that's probably be harder for you.
It's fine. I've been watching Escape from Alcatraz all day.
Raul was also in Escape from Alcatraz, so that's a very funny connection there.
But Debbie, like, I do like this here because we don't know much about Debbie's character at this point. Like, she seemed very like subservient to Ernie when we first meet her, and here, like, when he's like, I'll be back, I swear, just give me a few weeks. She's like, okay, oh, you want to run? All right, we'll go run and take this. And then she just starts like tossing stuff at him. He's like, hey. And like, she like freaks out on him. And I like that she has like some backbone here, because my early impression of this character was not someone who would do this.
I think that's the problem, though, is like if we didn't spend 9 fucking minutes in this opening scene drawing all that out, and we made a little more time for their relationship, this character might make more sense in this scenario.
Like, he was gonna abandon her.
Yeah, he was just gonna leave. He obviously cares more about the Maserati than he cares about her, which I feel like that's fine. Like, that's what that character is.
Is that why he's running? Because of the Maserati? I assumed he did something way more fucked up, because
I just feel like
running.
This guy's done stuff throughout his life, so he just picked something. They might have just finally figured something out. Yeah,
I think that it probably is the Maserati. I think he alludes to the Maserati in the next scene. But think about it, though. You pull out a Maserati from the ground.
No, we know for a fact that's why the cops are there.
Yeah, that's why the cops are there, but
his initial reaction is, why does he think they're there? And I don't know if it's necessarily from that. I just think he's the kind of guy who we've talked about already, who will and can do anything. So it could be any old crime that he might have been involved in that he's trying to run from. I don't know if it's necessarily tied to this one thing. He knows he has a sheet, so it could be a number of things.
And don't forget too, at this point, we're only like a year or two removed from Jim and Tammy Faye Baker, right? Like, there's all this like evangelist getting caught up in crime stuff happening like in the culture. So like maybe we're like a little removed from it now compared to then, where like that was such a, like, these people just kept getting arrested, kept becoming part of the news, where like you just assume if he was a televangelist that he was crooked and did something. So you just like, your brain assumes whatever the thing is,
So eventually she talks Ernie into just staying in the room, and he says, all right, you know what? Whatever it is, I'll face it. We'll face it together. And then that's when Warren walks in with the officer, and the officer's asking Ernie like by name, like, are you Ernie? And he's like, he like shrieks and like runs for the window, and like the high pitched shriek he made, I thought was pretty funny.
If he didn't fall out the window.
I feel like we didn't, as far as a directorial position here too, I feel like we did not need the freeze frame. That feels like a weird cop out, right? Like, why are we doing a freeze frame here? Also, do any of you know any Ernies?
Yes.
Ernie Bach Jr.
Aside from famous car salesman and bad blues guitarist Ernie Bach Jr., do you know any?
Ernie Hudson.
I said, do you know any? Not the 2 famous Ernies we know. Gordo, please.
My second or third cousin, Ernie, he owns a funeral home that's very close to Jay's house.
I feel like you probably should have brought that up like an hour and a half ago. That would have been so much better.
We're not close. Like I said,
it doesn't matter. You know an Ernie who's same name as the character from this show and does the same job.
I think don't know.
Well, at least we know where he was embalmed. I was making the point of like, do we know any young Ernies? I don't know any young Ernies.
His son is Ernie Jr.
I know someone who goes by Ernest.
Yeah, he's scared stupid.
I heard he went to jail.
No, he's currently in camp.
He also saved Christmas.
Oh, I heard he's in the army now.
The only one left is Ernest Goes to Africa, and I will not bring that up myself. I will not do it.
But yeah, so my second or third cousin, Ernie, he's my grandmother's cousin. So I don't know what that is relation to me, but it's somewhat related. But he owns a funeral home.
Well, anyways, the cop asks him, hey, did you bury a stiff in a Maserati? And Howard's just going, I knew it. And then it's Ernie getting really defensive because obviously he stole the Mazda or is in the process of stealing it at least. I don't know if he's 100% sure what's going on yet with it. Like, how should I know? What he's supposed to think? I stole an Italian car? He's like, look how they jump to the conclusions. Like, you actually expect the jury to believe that I dug it up and drove it into my garage? Like he's telling them exactly what he did while being defensive and explaining that he didn't.
Do you feel like, and again, whatever, bad juju, believe in ghosts, don't believe in ghosts. If you steal a ghost's car that they were buried in, I feel like you're apt to be haunted, right?
That's how you get the movie Christine.
Thank you. This is a legitimate Christine scenario. It's going to just play like, splish, splash, I was taking a bath. They just murder Howie Mandel immediately.
Shut up and take my money. Give me that movie.
I would watch that so badly, yeah. That sucks. They're gonna like remake Christine at one point, and it's gonna be like a 2004 Honda Civic, and that movie is gonna be so fucking stupid, and nobody's gonna give a shit.
Ernie's, like I said, basically giving away the entire plan by talking about like, what do you think I did? And then just would say more shit that he actually did, or was at least a plan or two. And then he's like, or better yet, just maybe I hired some idiot to dig around the mud for me. Is that what you think I did? And then as soon as he says that, Raul walks in, basically looking like a coal miner.
The Raul walking in here and turning around is maybe like the funniest beat of the whole episode. Like, this was directed very well.
Oh, so maybe Raul wasn't the clown, because the clown comes in right after again, too.
No, the clown is a different actor. I actually looked at the clown's IMDb, and this is also his one credit on films. I don't know what he was doing, but I don't know if he was Stu's nephew or cousin or something, but yeah, he's not a person with a lot of film credits to his name.
So he's trying to push him for some answers, and Ernie's going, I didn't steal it. And that's when the cop's like, but she did. Who's she? What's she? The lady you buried. She's a car thief. Well, that's not my problem, is it? Like, no problem. We'll just go dig it up. And then there's like this weird, he says fine, and then runs to the window again, but it cuts to commercial.
Oh, this is the freeze frame. Yeah, this is the freeze frame. You're like, why did we do this? Also, again, I'm no cop or anything, but like, if they assumed she stole the car, are they going to exhume the car with the body in it? Or are we just going to assume that she was responsible for this car? Like, when they dig up bodies, usually it's because they have to like get DNA or something. I don't think they would dig up a giant Maserati with a crane and pull it the fuck out.
No, he says he has a court order.
If you're rich enough to own a Maserati, I'm sure you're rich enough to get a good enough lawyer to get that court order.
But unless it was like fucking Sean Connery's Maserati, you just take the insurance and buy a new one, right? Like, it's not like it's like the rarest car in the world.
I also question the car working after being buried.
Yeah, in dirt for at least a day, yeah.
Like, completely buried, pretty deep.
At least 6 feet.
That's gonna get in everything.
Worms in there.
Oh, slimy?
Yeah.
He doesn't know what that is.
Yeah, I have no idea who Slimy is.
It's wild to me you don't remember the stripy worm who literally lived on Oscar's trash can.
Do you remember the worm, just not his name?
And because of like Warren being so upset about the situation, about trying to dig up a grave, this is Ernie's opportunity to jump in on that like false rage about it. He's like, do you love this kid? The fire, the intensity. He's like, that's hallowed ground, officer. I will not violate or desecrate that earth for a 12-cylinder Italian sports car, nor will this little fella. Basically, they work out a deal where, all right, I'll give you until now, but you have to, first thing in the morning, dig up that Maserati.
Again, it's just so fucking, I mean, like, he wins, obviously, right? It's what a con artist wants, right? You get more time to do what you have to do, but that car is going to be garbage. Did he take the body and move it into a Pinto?
Yeah.
Yeah, he had Raul take the body out.
Do you think he put it in the driver's seat or just, like, laid it down?
Probably in the driver's seat.
I think you have to. The dignity there is that you, like, put them 2 hands on the wheel, 10 and 2.
Before the cop did leave, before they came to that, by the way, was like him threatening to arrest him if he didn't comply.
Wait, this is just hitting me. I get it if that's like your car that you've owned for. If this is just a car thief, why did they request to be buried in the car?
I mean, maybe it was the best car she ever stole.
Yeah.
I guess it's just weird.
Like, if you stole like a fucking Lamborghini Testarossa or something, I guess you'd be like, I want to be buried in that one, versus like, I don't know, a fucking.
I mean, I think this also goes back to like, keep in mind the type of show that we're covering right now. This is
Yeah.
Right. Jay, my brain's breaking. What's the car your mom had that was the cop car?
Lincoln.
The Malibu?
Ford Taurus.
Oh, a Taurus. Yeah. And then I ended up having that Taurus. And then many Tauruses after. I had a few Tauruses.
Do you have any Sagittariuses?
It's a Chevy Capricorn. It's capricious. I know nothing about astrology. I just think it's funny, though, looking back now as an adult, being like, we gave cops Ford Tauruses, and you were like, those are not good cars. You're never going to chase somebody at a Maserati at a fucking Ford Taurus.
When were cops in Tauruses?
I thought they were in Explorers.
For the whole 90s, like our town, every cop had a Ford.
No, I think they were Lincoln Town cars.
No, town cars were way bigger.
No, Crown Vics.
Crown Vics, yeah.
They were Crown Vics, but they stopped making Crown Vics.
They stopped making them and they get Tauruses until we basically went to Chargers, and then the cops now only have SUVs. Like, you never see a cop car anymore. Now you just see, like, cop.
Oh, yeah, you do. They're like Chargers.
Well, the Chargers are, like, the last bastion of it, though. Now they're just, like, all in SUVs.
Rightfully so for what they need the cars for.
I mean, cars are so much better now that, like, yeah, a decent SUV is going to be able to go 100 miles an hour, right? Like, it's silly to be like...
Yeah.
If you think of some of those, like, 80s cop cars that weighed, like, 10,000 fucking pounds and were all metal, you were like, anybody in a Corvette is going to smoke you. Like, this is a terrible car to have in a chase scenario.
Those old cars couldn't even catch the Blues Brothers.
It's true. And they had sunglasses and half pack of cigarettes.
The one thing I glossed past, by the way, before the cop left, was when they were talking and he had threatened to arrest Ernie, or how he'd feel about that. There was you could take my freedom, but never take my integrity. And then as soon as he says that, that clown had run back out in like a different outfit from before. So I don't know if it was Raul or not, but like he kind of had that like, how about now? Like,
Yeah, because he took the hat off.
my thing is, and again, this is a tough show to dissect and use logic here as we're learning, even though this is not, for a show that we're doing in this month, it's really not like a fantasy show. It's like something, this is supposed to all be very real. Like the clown at this time of night, why would he be in the outfit right now running out to be like, hey, how does this look?
It's got to be sexual.
Like this wouldn't be going on. Yeah. Everyone's supposed to be in bed right now, let alone like this is a good time to try on my clown outfit. So after the cop leaves, Ernie's like, 12 cylinders. He was so upset because he just realized he lost out on this, in his mind, free Maserati he was going to get. And Warren goes, Ernie, this is hard for me to say, but I was wrong about you. I said you had no heart, no feelings, no integrity. I was wrong. You do care. What you said about hallowed ground and disturbing the dead, I would walk to the ends of the earth with you. Ernie Lapidus, you are quite a big man. And like they have a hug.
This is too much. This is a little too much for him.
He turns quick.
Walk to the ends of the earth with you is too fucking much.
That's my issue, though, is he finally won him over, and like this is like a nice thing, and then he undoes it by fucking telling the truth 2 seconds later to get him to dig up the Pinto.
Yeah.
Yes, and I agree with you, but I feel like Ernie's or Howie's line should have been here, like, or Warren's line should have been like, I'm proud to call you brother-in-law. Not that I would walk to the ends of the earth with you. Like, that's the kind of thing you say to somebody in, like, wartime, Like, you saved my life from a Nazi bullet.
But this is how serious Warren takes this job in this place. So he was so moved by hearing that. But no, I agree with you. But I think that's what they're trying to demonstrate. This might be an indicator. I'm still confused if Raul is the clown both times. Right now is when Ernie calls for Raul again. And he runs out in like a towel and shower cap. So he could have been washing off all the clown paint.
That's what I think the joke is. Yeah, he's like, he took a shower to not be the clown anymore.
It's almost like in cartoons when they have butlers and like they like call the butler and he's just in 2 seconds. Like, yes, sir. Right. Like, they're trying to do like a real version of that.
And this is like the part 2 of earlier. So now he's saying, go to my garage, open the trunk of the Maserati, take the shovel off the wall, put it in the trunk, and close the trunk, drive the Maserati to plot 17A, open the trunk, take the shovel out and dig a hole down until you hit the Pinto, drive the Pinto out of the hole, take the vent milliner woman out of the Pinto, put her in the Maserati, and then drive the Maserati into the hole, take the shovel and fill up the hole, then throw the shovel in the trunk of the Pinto, drive my Pinto to the car wash, have them fill up the windshield spritzer, and then drive it home and hang the shovel back up on the wall and bring me one elevator shoe and a water pistol.
What is an elevator shoe?
Elevator shoes, to my understanding, is like lift shoes, like shoes to make you look taller. I don't know why you would wear one.
Yeah, the one makes no sense. But yeah, they're just like shoes with lifts in them, so you look taller.
Also, this is what I didn't get either. They have to return the car. They don't have to put her back in the Maserati and re-bury it. He just needs his car back. They could just have turned in like, oh, you have until tomorrow. They could have just given them the car first thing in the morning. The car's already free and clean. You didn't have to. I mean, I guess he needs a car now, like his Pinto's in there.
Also, a Pinto, a very small hatchback car that has had a dead body in it for the night. Probably not going to smell too good when he has to go to the fucking post office tomorrow.
Just like, I already said this bothered me, but why didn't he just like take him in the other room and do that after he finally won Warren over? It's like, why would you undo all that?
Because now Warren understands what happened. He's like, you stole the car. You desecrated her grave. Like, I desecrated my Pinto. And Debbie's like sitting at the table, like kind of laughing at the thought of it. Warren's pissed. He's like, you're laughing? You think this is amusing? He is nowhere near amusing. You are a crook. She says, well, who did crook steal from? The living. He stole from the dead.
Oh, grave robbing is still very much a crime.
Yes.
Look,
Yes.
they lost me so hard in the last 5 minutes of this episode. Like, they try so hard with like the crying kid and everything. That being like, he's not a bad person. He steals from dead people. You're like, how are you trying to make this person not a fucking villain?
I would almost respect them more if they didn't give you the redemption. Just have him be a piece of shit.
And also, like, we don't need a voiceover versus like the sweet scene. It's a weird choice.
And then we cut to like that next day, and it looks like someone's service had just happened. And Warren and Debbie are both like a little dressed up, and they're sitting together on the couch. And she tells him, like, it was a beautiful service, Warren. He goes, Deb, look, we got to make a decision about Ernie. She's like, I made a decision. He's my husband, and I love him, and I'm keeping him. And he's telling her he's vile, despicable, and beyond contempt. It's him or me. And says, Deb, and I'm not going anywhere. And she goes, may I remind you that Daddy left the business to me. And that's when he goes, oh, you didn't finish. I'm just glad that Dad never got a chance to meet him.
Kind of fucked up when you have two kids leave the business to one, especially he's very devoted to the business.
Yeah.
He'd leave half and half.
Be like that sometimes.
Well, none of us are like in that situation, I guess. So we don't know how to like. We've never had to deal with it, but it must cause crazy fights in the family.
Money
right?
tears
Oh,
apart
yeah.
families.
Yeah.
It just happens that way.
Like, I feel like I probably should make a will now at this point in my life, right? But if I was to make a will, it would be like everything goes to you because I have one kid, right? Like, make it easy. Like, it goes to my wife and then to you. Like, deal with it then. Like, splitting stuff up 50-50 is like, just a fucking nightmare. If you have a lot of kids or like people you want to leave stuff to, I can't imagine it doesn't get so fucking messy.
You bury me with my money.
Yeah, but then, Joe, if you have multiple kids, it's easy. Everything's split equally.
Exactly. Split it equal. That's why I'm saying it's weird that he gave it all to the daughter.
But also just like sell stuff, right? Like, most people don't want to go in like, if you have somebody who runs the business currently, then like leave it to them, sure.
Maybe he didn't like him.
Because in reality, he would have left it to her. This guy's very invested in the business. He would have contested the will, and that would have torn that family apart.
Yeah,
Yep.
They would have been this new guy's come in here and he's gonna, it would have been a fucking nightmare. They would not live in the house. There would be
Yeah.
too much going on. And he wants to run the business. It feels like the daughter doesn't want to run it or be part of it at all.
I could even see, like, do 50-50 or, like, 51-49%, like...
I think they do it too sometimes where it's like, it's 50-50, or if you want to sell it, it becomes 75-25
Yeah.
Yeah.
to the person who wants to run it and keep going, and then you deal with it that way.
I don't want to glance past this. I do want to mention that dialogue that we are just kind of finishing up on that part of it, and then still going on a little bit at this part of the episode. But in the background, you could see that someone like rolls in that clown in a coffin that's shaped like a giant see-through seltzer bottle.
That's a great fucking gag.
Yeah, it is.
You guys notice the gag in the, like, credit scene,
Yes.
too?
Yes.
Okay.
The car, yeah.
I almost missed it.
I'm kind of surprised. That would have been an opportunity to like do a gag with the water, like spraying out, like almost like had it hooked up like it was a sprinkler. So like when they rolled the clown in, had like the water like psst,
Well, I assume that's why he asked for the squirt gun in the elevator shoe, right? For the clown?
Just one shoe, though, is what I get thrown off by.
Yeah.
Now, not to pull the Gorda move here, but like, if you could have one custom coffin, do you guys have a custom coffin you want? Would you want to be a seltzer bottle?
Man, you want me to plan my whole funeral this episode, huh?
If you don't want that, don't pick a funeral show.
Jay, your knees will die, or your ankles will die long before you will. So the funeral's really for your ankle. It's weird, right? To think about that, what you'd want.
I want to be buried in carbonite.
Okay.
End of the day, I'm going to be dead. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, it means more to the people who do it.
You know, I don't know. It could be like a dinosaur or something. That'd be kind of cool. Or like an alligator.
Don't worry, Joe. We'll press your ashes into a record. I know other people. It's been done before.
No, Joe. We're going to bury you in a big cannoli.
I'm going to make sure he gets his kiss coffin.
No.
I appreciate either one of those, actually, yeah.
I will make sure it gets pressed into a cannoli. Or a cannoli-shaped coffin.
I mean, that would be funny, but are you going to eat my coffin cannoli? That sounds disgusting, yeah.
It's Joe's Hallie. Becomes Gordo's poop.
Oh, to be fair, though, that is like the funniest thing ever. Where Gordo makes me poop, and I have to deal with being poop forever. That's kind of perfect, yeah. I hate poop so much.
Joe's going to haunt my toilet bowl. I'm going to have a real spooky dookie.
I will only allow that to happen if you buy a home. I will not let that happen in like your apartment because I'm just haunting somebody else in 2 years. Some poor fucking kid moves down to go to college and I'm like, woo! It's like, what the fuck? What? I didn't do anything.
Does Casper Jackson come with you when you're dead? Because I don't want him hanging around.
I imagine.
I imagine Casper will link up with me at the end, yeah.
So we talked about this a little bit earlier, but we didn't get into it. At this point, Ernie had already left. We just have Warren talking to his sister. We hear like their voices now get like cut. So it goes from that scene to just like they're narrating, but it's still from that scene. And we hear Warren say like he doesn't care about dead people. He doesn't care about anybody. And he's going on. But while this is happening, the footage we're watching now is him with that kid from earlier, like doing the whole funeral for the hamster. And we see like the hamster's in like this little white casket and they're both dressed up and it's just the two of them. And yes, this is all intended to be this character's like redeeming end where we see he's not all bad. He's not just like that used car salesman we talked about earlier. I didn't like that they show it and then they cut back to the two of them talking in the living room and then they go back to it again. I just felt like if you want to do this, just stay on this shot the whole time. There's things they could be doing. Like, we don't have to go back to let us absorb what's happening and, like, see it. You can't just show it for, like, 10 seconds and be like, look, he's nice now.
I'm with you. It's a bad editing choice. Like, you have to stick with one. You can do the voiceover thing, but you can't just cut back and forth. You have to, like, land on one for a little while and then cut back.
At the very end, you have him go on his rant and you show that as the last scene. That's how I would do it. You end the show on that to show he's redeemed. You're gonna do it.
I don't like the redemption period.
No, I'm with you. I don't like it at all. It doesn't fit.
I don't mind. I actually thought it was very nice. I think it showed what they wanted you to see, like the other side of him that's a little bit more responsible. And I thought it was like the footage they do show, the little coffin, the attention to detail, like him being sad along with this kid, because I think he's using the hamster, but to like, think about other, all the repressed emotion that he typically shows so he can just be off the wall all the time.
The kid crying, though, feels too much.
When the kid is in the house, he doesn't seem to give a shit. And like, he only says he'll do it to get rid of him.
Yeah, I guess we get redemption when he goes to bed that night or something. Yeah, again, look, we have a lot of things we can talk about why this doesn't work, but and also the kid crying, like the kid actually shedding a tear at the gravesite is like maybe a bit too much.
Yeah, it was a bit strong for this part, but no, I don't know. I just felt like that funeral scene. Let me say, I know what they were going for. I think we all did. Like, this was like, again, the attempt to give him some redeemable qualities, but I did think it was a sweet like gesture on his part to, carry on his promise to that kid and be up in the morning and do the whole funeral for him. So I don't know. I kind of liked it.
It's sweet, but it's like Joe said earlier, we just saw him fucking steal a car from the dead. It's like, you're not
He just stole a car from a dead lady, but he's like, well, this little kid's hamster. You're like, you gotta pick a lane.
Yeah.
And again, it cut from that to them talking and then kind of back to that towards the end. You know, that kid's like crying and Ernie's consoling him a little bit and being, I don't know, I guess more respectful than he was earlier when he was just kind of like shooing him off. I think like, I don't know if it's the weight of everything from before or him legitimately changing or him just playing it up like he would with people typically, but you do see like the version of him that, you know, that we would, I guess, expect for the remainder of the series, the nicer version, because you can't hate the main character all the time.
I mean, to play devil's advocate, you can say he does care because he tends to give these people what they want, which is not what Warren does. He just wants the stuffy old thing. But he's willing to stuff someone because that's their final wish. He's willing to put the clown in the spray bottle. He buries her in the car. I mean, he steals it, but he gives her what she wants. You can make that argument that he truly cares about what these people's last wishes are.
I want a secondary sitcom that explains the like factory that makes personalized coffins for weird stuff people ask for, because like how did he get a giant seltzer bottle coffin? That's not off the shelf, right?
Yeah, I don't know.
No, I'd imagine not off the shelf.
Maybe the clown had it. To go to like the big top store. What's the Undertaker's name?
Mark
Calloway, I believe.
No, the Undertaker in this show.
Mean Mark?
Is it Raul?
Mean Mark Callis, Raul.
Maybe he made it. He does everything else.
But I think, okay, I love when we talk about shows like this and we like start talking, because I'm like, a funny thing would be like, you give him 2 fucking minutes in the show of him being like in a coffin shop making interesting things for people, and he's like, I relate to you because not everybody just wants a fucking pine box, right? We don't do that. We just joke that this stuff exists. I know it's very analytical on a very dumb sitcom, but like, I don't know, that may have made more sense. Guys, the show wasn't good. This was not a good show.
It doesn't know what it wants to be, if it wants to be grounded in reality or if it wants to be a cartoon. And it kind of like, it throws off everything. When you really deep dive like we're doing right now, there's a lot of holes. Where do these come from? All this stuff.
Like when it ends with him like just hugging the kid, like as they're looking down the character, like I think that would have been the way to end it, at least like give him that little hope spot. But instead you have that credit scene where he's trying to like redo the commercial from before, like at least do like a more updated one. And he's being like overly emotional to the point of it feeling fake. And he goes, "Hi, I'm back. I just buried a person. I am highly emotional. Yes, the person I buried was dead. We must have buried 3 or 4 over the week, and that's a slow week." And now the line for the mortuary is, we cry and we bury. We cry because we care, and we bury them because they're dead.
That's sort of sweet, though. Like, that didn't bother me. Like, if you saw a funeral home that said, like, we bury them because we're dead and we cry because we care, you'd be like, okay, that's like a line on a business card I wouldn't be mad about.
I think I prefer the first commercial.
Like, I'm not saying.
The first one's funnier, but I mean, I guess it's tough. Like a lot of like older ladies, like if you think about earlier, like are going to be more susceptible to like, oh, I feel so bad for him.
I don't know if I want the funny funeral home director.
I will say this one thing. I meant to bring this up earlier. Very weird. I'm sure we've all been in situations where you're part of a conversation with a funeral director. It's a weird thing they teach them in like mortuary school, where like they refer to them as what you refer to them as. But, like, we're going to make sure that dad makes it through okay. That always weirds me the fuck out. Like, we're going to make sure that like Aunt Lisa makes it. Like, they always like, and that's, I understand why they do it. But to me, I think they should just like be more abstract. To be like, we'll make sure that it's dignified and she'll be fine, blah, blah, blah. The adding the like extra thing to you of what you called that person, I always find really fucking weird.
I think that's to manipulate you into spending more money.
Probably, yeah, it's a sales thing. But like, I immediately am just like, you didn't know that person. You can't call them that. You know what I mean? Like, my fucking hairs raise immediately. It makes me very uncomfortable.
Yeah, I never even thought of that.
With all that in mind, like that was the end of the episode. I personally think it should have ended with him and the kid during the little hamster funeral. But they redid the bit here with a loose episode.
And then I will say, I think it's a pretty fun way to end it, where we get the clown funeral So we get the car parked at the perfect angle where you can't see people coming in and out, but we just get 50 clowns coming out of the car, including one who was in the trunk. One poor actor who had to sit in the trunk of a VW Beetle. They just wait for somebody to hit
No, he's in the front.
Oh, sorry. Well, it's a trunk in a VW because in the back the engine is.
Oh, I thought it was like one of those old-timey cars that had the trunk in the front.
It is, yeah. Those old VW Beetles, the engine's in the back.
Okay.
Like Herbie.
I guess that scene ended with the commercial, and then I heard the voiceover stuff, and just assumed, because the voiceover was for Fox, it wasn't for the show, so I wasn't paying attention to the scene anymore. I just thought the car was pulling up.
The voiceover is for The Simpsons, which says a lot about again.
What's wild too is the voiceover for The Simpsons is 1992. It's those fucking funny Simpsons, right? There wasn't character enough to give them. They were and that wacky family, The Simpsons.
Well, yeah. Again, for content, I don't remember if I said it at the beginning of the episode, but this show, at the day our show releases, it's going to be just a few days after the 35th anniversary of this episode debuting.
What's wild too is I think we can all talk about The Simpsons to whatever point we have. For me, I think it's season 14. That's where I drop off. But I could literally say every line from every episode from season 1 to 14. It's just our generation growing up. But I have no idea what the fuck The Simpsons is doing now. And they're at season 35 or 36 or 37 or something. It's crazy.
Just think about throwing it on and see what new Simpsons are like. But I never do.
But yeah, with all that, no, I think it's crazy that I missed that last thing.
It was missable. I get it.
Yeah, no, I was I once I hear the voice, I'm thinking it's over. I didn't realize there was gonna be a gag.
I was in the process of closing it out, and then I was oh wait, there's stuff going on. So
what threw me was after The Simpsons, they were and then on Beverly Hills 90210, and then on Against the Law, and I was oh, I don't remember Against the Law. What is that? And I went down a rabbit hole of some weird comedy drama fucking hour-long cop show. It lasted for a year on fucking Fox. Where it's nobody's gonna ever watch that show again.
We will.
Yeah, with all that being said, I think we might as well do the green light or cancel. Again, Nick's not here, but his vote will be available on S1E1 Pod on Instagram or X or wherever you follow us. So just to go in, I guess, counterclockwise, Joe, starting with you.
I love Howie Mandel. I love the writers of this show. I mean, we've talked about Throw 'Em Out from the Train on this podcast so many times. It's pretty much a perfect movie, but there's a lot wrong here. I don't think anyone's surprised to hear this didn't go for the one season. And I honestly think that the biggest issue, and I know I harped on it a bunch, was 9 minutes for the first scene in the first location. You just get fucking bored. You're watching some show where some jokes land, some jokes don't, and you never leave the location. I'm glad everyone did well after this. But for a show like this, where I usually pass a show like this, but I just can't. It's not good. There's too many questions. We talked about this for 3 hours, and this show should not have been talked about for that long. It is not a pass for me. It's a cancel.
Ferg.
Yeah, I'm with Joe. It's a cancel for me. This show is tonally a mess. I also love Howie Mandel, but I feel his overacting for this show seriously dragged it down for me. And I can't get behind him as the main character. He's not likable at all. And they try to sprinkle in a little redemption at the end. It would just piss me off. I'm are you trying to manipulate me right now? But it just didn't work. The only time I truly laughed was a stupid joke about a dog running into the wall because the treadmill shut off. And then I hated myself after. So, yeah, it's a big time cancel for me.
Gordo.
Yeah, it's a cancel for me. Howie Mandel was just way, way, way over the top. He was not likable. This show dragged balls. It just did. It just dragged balls. It sucked. Don't watch it.
Much like a dog on a treadmill.
Yes, much like a dog on a treadmill, it dragged balls.
Drag balls.
There's nothing else to say. It just sucked. Don't watch it. Cancel.
Well, I'm going against the grain. I'm actually going to give this one the green light. I don't know. I listen, plenty you can easily pick apart with this show. I think there's definitely a cap as to how long a show like this could possibly run because of its premise. I thought Howie Mandel was just funny enough to keep it going, though. I was entertained. I thought the bits were fine. I didn't find myself clock watching it. I really didn't. So with that in mind, yeah, it's green light for me. Nothing to really over dig into with that. So doesn't matter. In fact, it doesn't even matter what Nick scores, because with the 3 cancels, unfortunately, for good grief, you are being canceled. So with that in mind, I want to thank all of you guys for listening. Go to S1E1pod.com. That's where you can find all the links to where you can listen to us, rate, review, subscribe, do all that stuff. Also, be sure to follow us on our social medias like X and Instagram. S1E1pod is the handles for those. We like when you interact with us. Let us know shows you want us to pick. If you can think of anything for Spooky Dookie Year 6, we could use the help. So let us know things like that. But with all that in mind, I just want to thank you guys for listening, and we'll catch you again next week with another new episode. Till then, though, thank you. Goodbye.
I think we got the best blatant Dr. Pepper sponsorship.